the Ravens. They got blowed out again. They got blowed out by the Texans, who couldn't score against anybody.
By the way,
yes.
I think you lost a pick 'em with that.
What?
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, you lost. I picked for you. We lost by 1. I went 2-3, Rob. That's right on par for you. That's like where you're usually.
That is actually where you are.
4-1.
No. That's where you are.
All right, Rob G. But good anyway.
No, yeah. Baltimore Ravens. Everybody's Super Bowl pick on the show.
Dang it, man,
tough scene for us.
Not just us.
Everybody.
We got the sheet in there. It's about 25, 30 people. Everybody.
Oh yeah, it ain't just us.
Now you mentioned it, Rob. Quickly, the Houston Texans coming into Sunday had only scored 5 touchdowns as a team.
You hear that? 5.
They scored 6 against the Baltimore Ravens.
Dang.
They ended up winning 44-10. The 34-point loss tied for the second worst margin of defeat under John Harbaugh. Their largest home defeat since 2013. The 44 points they allowed is the most in a home game in Harbaugh's 18 seasons as a coach. Obviously a low point for Harbaugh and that much beleaguered defense. Even still, he's decided he's going to stick with defensive coordinator Zach Orr, even as they continue to suffer humiliating defeat after humiliating defeat. And in fact, Kyle Van Noy, one of their veteran leaders on defense, was asked after the game if, again, another blowout loss, another situation where the defense doesn't even show up to the game.
The guy was drafted by the Lions? Kyle Van Noy? Yeah, I think he was. Go ahead, Rob.
Was asked if he thought that maybe John Harbaugh and Zach Orr's messaging was no longer getting through to the team. Take a listen to his response.
Do you feel like the messages that are coming from John or Zach or whomever aren't getting through in some way?
That's probably a question that's above my pay grade. Probably, I think that's a Harbaugh and ZO question. To be honest, I think their messaging is fine, and we got to be the group to take that and go out and do the simple things right, the fundamentals. Easy, basic stuff.
Well, I mean, he gave the right answer. What are you going to say there? That's not really for him to be able to put that in a spot like that, and talk about that. You get confronted with it. You got to know how to answer it. I said this after week 1.
You did.
When they blew the game in Buffalo. At some point, John Harbaugh, come on. Really? Is this what? And I get it. Lamar's out. You want to use that as an excuse. You can't use it as an excuse because the defense gives up 40 points, and it started in Buffalo when they blew that game. Lamar and them came out and put a 40 piece on the opening night on the road, and they lost. And I said John Harbaugh should be fired. And everybody, oh, you're a prisoner of the moment. Oh, you're going to get the coach, blah, blah, blah. And now look where they are. They're in a hole that they're not going to get out of. I mean, this is like going to be a wash season. They're not going to fix this. The DC doesn't get fired after they gave up six touchdowns to the Houston Texans? Seriously. That alone, wait a minute. They scored 5 touchdowns coming into the game all season, and they got 6 on us? Dude, where's your key and clicker, okay?
David Carr so mad. He's like, why couldn't I have that defense I had to face? I could have stayed in the league.
Right.
David Carr somewhere. Matt.
You think I'm crazy? I'm serious about Harbaugh.
I know you are.
When you start holding on to your guys and nobody is held accountable, you talk about players being held accountable, right? Where's the coaches? Hey, no way. The coaches have to somewhat be held accountable as well on why this isn't happening and why they're so bad.
So when we had this conversation, I was not firing John Harbaugh. Here is my issue with John Harbaugh and my conversations, if I'm the general manager, that I would have to have with him, or he needs to have with himself in the mirror. Couple of things. Number one, you talk about the defensive coordinator who's still safe. You don't have to update his LinkedIn page as we speak. But when I look at these numbers, you can't be this. You can't be last in points allowed per game, which is obvious as we talked about. They're giving up points to everybody, 35.4. You can't be the worst defense. Rob, how many yards do you think they're giving up per game?
320. I'm just
407 yards a game is crazy. Pass defense, you're second to last, giving up 266. And in run defense, you're 27th, giving up 141. That's horrendous. You can't be bad at stopping the run and stopping the pass. Absolutely horrific. Here's another issue I have. They lack awareness right now because he's probably thinking, man, Sometimes I hear him talk as if they were a play or two away. Man, we just, we got to tighten up. He's making it like, oh, man, if we got a bad pass interference call, or, man, we had the one bad fumble. No, I just read you the numbers of how bad it is. Also, you know what I think is happening to them? And this happens when you have greatness. I think they've gotten Lamar Jackson spoiled, where the defense is used to, we're going to put up 30 to 45 points. We'll be good. Even if we get down. When me and you sat here, what do we do? Oh, they can go down 0-3. They'll be fine. It's Lamar. And I think the team as a whole and the defense specifically has just gotten used to, we got Lamar, we'll be all right. And that isn't how you operate if you're trying to get to that next level. You should be saying, man, we got Lamar all week. We want to help Lamar. We want to make sure we are that additive to him so that he ever has a bad night. God forbid Lamar Jackson ever have a bad night.
Right.
If he loses, a couple of intercepts, we got his back. And that's what the Chiefs were able to do. Patrick Mahomes wasn't great last year or the year before. But they were able, his defense able to hold it down. When Peyton Manning finally won a championship? What did we say? Man, if he ever had a defense, finally had Mathis and Freeney and Bob Sanders and those guys, and they had a defense that can say, hey, if you're ever just normal, like they were in the Super Bowl they won, remember against the Bears, they weren't great. Thankfully, they had a defense that can hold it down as well. My point is, I think the Ravens have gotten so Lamar-centric that they haven't figured out another way. And
but this is really bad. Like something internally is wrong. I'm not saying they're going to be the greatest defense. This isn't the Ravens defense that won a Super Bowl.
Ray Lewis ain't walking through.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But this is 40 points a game, and to cough up that game in Buffalo. You remember where Josh Allen had 275 yards or 250 in the fourth quarter. That's not like a mishap, like somebody made a bad play or got turned around. That's like you're not stopping anybody. The Lions rushed for 250 yards. Like that. Like there's something else there internally that can't be all the players, and that's why I'm saying at some point, what will it take you to say John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl? I was like many years ago, and it's been nothing but disappointment. That's why I'm saying I think it should be time. What are you waiting on?
I'm gonna say this. Just like an eye in your house, or an oven, you start to warm that thing. You're ready to throw a pizza in the oven. You got to warm it up. I'm warming up the seat. It ain't hot, but it's warm. Because, again, you know me. I like stability. I don't want to just get rid of a guy and then go, you, come here. You take the job. Now, if you're on your job and you got a search and you found the new Kyle Shanahan, Flores, Sean McVay or something, then okay, that's a different conversation. But I'm not a fan of just firing a guy and then closing your eyes and looking around. But something definitely has to change. And again, for me, they have to picture themselves. We have to be good at all facets. It can't just be, well, we got Lamar, he'll figure it out. Because that's not fair to Lamar. Because in order to win, there are going to be times where your run, he wasn't his best, but you picked him up. Because that's happened to every great quarterback. There are times where that defense picked them up. Their special teams picked them up. Other guys around them, they ran the ball and just ran the ball 35 times down someone's throat. Whatever happened to that? So, yeah, they need a whole philosophy change right now because something's going on.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Should John Harbaugh be fired in Baltimore? I try to tell you after week 1. Do the Ravens need to make a change? Or are you cool with this? Giving up 40 points a week defensively. Drew in New Jersey, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Drew?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's time because I think they have too good of defenders for them to be that bad. I think situationally they need somebody that situationally knows how to handle those pressure moments that can help guide Lamar in those pressure moments. I think you offer Bill Belichick that job. However, you tell him that you need to leave the girlfriend back in North Carolina. Also,
Drew,
the Bucs are going to be the Super Bowl.
Drew, I ain't mad at the Bucs take. I hear that. The Super Bowl's up for grabs right now, but you took it too far with the Bill Belichick. Number one, Bill Belichick don't even want to coach no more. She's making him coach. He want to be at home. He's tired. He don't want to be doing none of this. She's trying to keep him relevant out there. That man is tired. Did you hear him after that loss they had? That man is. He want to go home, bro. He's 88.
After the game,
oh boy!
instead of ordering,
what you about to say?
he asked for a wheelchair to be taken home.
That's
it's so bad.
No, the little joint you see, man, at the grocery store. He tired, man.
Did you see that latest mini controversy they got involved in this morning?
Which one?
So Drake May had a great game last night, right? And upsetting.
They don't want to celebrate.
They don't want to post anything related to Patriots stuff.
Oh yeah.
On the North Carolina feed in any kind of way.
Yep.
Even though Drake May is one of the few really good NFL players that have come out of North Carolina.
Probably the greatest, though. Lawrence Taylor came out of there.
But I mean, in recent memory.
I know, right? Because it's not a football school.
And they said, no, we're not sharing anything. It wasn't until somebody pointed it out, like, hey, this is like a band they got going. And it took them, once that became public, like 20 minutes later, they put a Drake May highlight in a package of other players, so it wasn't just Drake May.
But no. The school has to acknowledge Drake May. I mean, come on.
Hey, see, Bill Belichick, you about to beat me to it.
Right.
Yeah, Bill Belichick is new.
Stop it.
Might not even go anywhere after this year. Seriously, there's no guarantee. He can pay us $10 million, whatever it is, and move on.
You don't do that as a school because somebody's there and he's got an axe to grind. He's one of your own. Right? He's one of your own. You should. I'm not saying you got to trumpet the Patriots or whatever, but Drake May just had a game and
big
beat
win for him.
Undefeated team.
A career type of a win. One of those moments. Absolutely, you show some love to that. And you don't let one person just come in and run things who hasn't earned it. This ain't Nick Saban. You know what I mean? It was 6, 7, 8, 9 years of dominance.
That's what they've done at Colorado with Deion. Like let's retire everybody's number, this and that and all that. They didn't win anything.
No, that's a fair point.
Like seriously, sure they got better, but did they win anything?
You didn't have to do it so immediately. I'm not even saying you shouldn't have done it in general, but to do it so immediately.
There were other Colorado football players who had better.
Is Cordell Stewart up there?
Yes. No, Cordell Stewart's not up there.
Slash ain't got no statue? That's about all I got. Then they have a running back. I think they did have one running back, too. I ain't mistaken. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts. And while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.